Here at the Giver Marketing Network, we don't leave you drifting out in space. We connect you to a coach who will help you build and grow your marketing business. Our process acts as a guide on how to connect with other businesses, maintain good relations, and establish a presence on the Giver Marketing Network. Each member within this collaborative group will have the opportunity to leverage your talent and influence, a true network effect. If you are looking to collaborate on more projects, welcome to the Giver Marketing Network, the most trusted and highest rated collective of specialists on the planet. Here we have a group of like-minded professionals who focus on making valuable introductions and helping each other grow by teaming up. Imagine Upwork meets a network and a coach. The talent collectively includes services like visibility and SEO, creating logos, designing websites, managing social media, outreach messaging, visual storytelling, and much more. Think of what you could do with laser-focused allies strengthening your business while offering your talent to the entire network. Click near this video for more information.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Giver Marketing Broadcast. This is our Tuesday broadcast. We do every Tuesday, and we love sharing marketing tips with you. And I am excited today. We have Jesse Holmes in the house. Woo! Hey, Jesse.
How's it going, Christine?
I'm excited to have you here. Now, when I was talking with Jesse, I was like, wow. You know what? He has knowledge that we need to share with our audience, right? When we're thinking about all the different options for marketing, there's so many choices, right? It gets overwhelming. And this is why I love bringing our experts to the table. This way we can share just a little bit of wisdom for the small businesses out there, the medium businesses, the solopreneurs, our nonprofits, right? We want to show that support. This is our give back. So I'm Christine Deane, Team Director at Giver Marketing, and I am excited today. Jesse, ready to have some fun?
Ready to have some fun.
So those that don't know you yet, they haven't had the honor. Now, I, of course, know that we have little ones at home. You showed me baby pictures. I'm saying after that, I was a sucker. I love babies. I always tell everybody, you want to get my attention, send me the baby pictures. So you're a dad, right?
4-year-old and a 4-month-old.
Oh my goodness. I remember those days. It seems like so long ago. You raise them for export. So far, so good. Mine haven't come back home yet. But I remember when they were little. That just makes it so much fun. And I remember those days. It's the lack of sleep. So, kudos for being up and awake with us today.
Yeah, thank you.
But you do so much more than just the dad life, right? So talk to us a little bit. How did you get involved with marketing?
Oh my goodness. So the very first introduction to marketing, I was actually 13 years old. My dad dragged me to a marketing event in Chicago to actually listen to a whole bunch of keynote speakers. I was like probably the youngest person in the audience. So at a very early age, my dad, he was never an entrepreneur in business. He was actually in construction, but he wanted something better for me and my brother. He's like, I want my sons to be in business. This is where it's at. This is what I want for them. And so from a very early age, he got us involved with as many opportunities as we could. And so from a very young age, I got inundated with all the marketing and sales and the business. So I've been surrounded by it for 23 years now.
I love that, Jesse. I always say I wish our family had been a little bit more entrepreneurial. We were the traditional, you get a degree. I don't care if you're the smartest housewife on the block, but you need a degree. That was my pappy, right? So old school. And that was the thing. You get a degree and then you work for someone else, right? When I was teaching college, they loved that, right? They're like, oh, Christine's a college professor, right? And that was fun. I had a great time with it. But entrepreneurship, that's a whole different way of looking at the world, right? I mean, I think we start with a leg up on just opportunities, being open to opportunity. So I think it's so cool that your dad started that with you when you were young. Yeah. So that's crazy. So you have all this entrepreneurial experience building through the years. And then you finally settled on what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'd love to tell you about my journey for sure.
Yeah. So here, we'll let everybody know what we're talking about today.
Yeah. So if you are a coach, a consultant, an agency owner, and you want to sign more B2B clients, but you don't want to spend money on ads, you don't want to hire an appointment setter, we can have whatever we want, doesn't matter. Or you don't want to deal with complicated sales funnels, then this presentation is for you. So why listen to me? I started my first business officially in my parents' basement at 16 years old. We started our own e-commerce business selling on eBay and Amazon and online. We grew that to a six-figure business fairly quickly. And then from there, that was 20 years ago. So I've done a number of different businesses. I've built a number of 6, 7. In my last business, we scaled to 8 figures in sales. And so I've never really had it. I've had a job for maybe a year out of my life in my of working. So I've always been self-employed, always working myself. And if entrepreneurs out there, that like that sounds amazing, but it's not all fairy tales and puppy dogs and rainbows and stuff like that. The entrepreneurial journey is a fun one. It's one that is not for the faint of heart,
So
and
true.
it's one. And if you can stay resilient, then good things can come your way. So if those are in the middle of their entrepreneurial journey and you say, this doesn't sound fun, doesn't sound like for me, well, just stick it out. There's only a few things you need to focus on. I'll tell you what those are today. Next slide. Now I help people sign clients without spending a penny on ads, needing a higher sales team, or learning how to create complicated sales funnels. So I'm just kind of taking the last 20 years of my entrepreneurial experience and boiling it down into client acquisition for coaches, consultants, agency owners.
Yeah, that's a big topic right there. And you think about how much money people spend on ads, right? And no guarantee on the results, right? And so I know it's like, where do I start? They want to run their own ads. Sometimes it doesn't go like they thought it was going to be. It gets kind of complicated. They're always changing how they're run and how they set them up. I mean, it's like a full-time job just doing the ads. And if you already have a business, you don't want a second business.
That's right. That's right. That's right. No, I'm glad you brought that up. And my last business I ran, it's not that I've never run ads before. My last business, we spent millions in advertising, and it was a great and fun experience. But like you said, there's no guarantee. And things are changing all the time. So if you want to kind of take away that risk, or you're just getting started, or you're just like, I don't want to throw money in the air and hoping it just lands, then follow through with me on this process, and it'll save you a couple dollars in headaches.
Give you a place to start. That's right. And, the whole idea of, sales team. Okay, well, now we have to train a sales team, right? We got to hire the sales team once again. And, does HR your full-time job? Is that so you really have to think about, complicated sales funnels. They can get really complicated. I know I set them up all the time for clients, and it's like, hold on. They're like, oh, there's a lot more to this than I thought. I'm like, yes, there is. So, they're not as always easy to kind of slap together. So if that's not your area of specialty, you might want something that's a little bit simpler, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you follow along with me, if you want to hear the simpler version. Step 1, start purposeful conversations every single day. So if you don't want to spend ads, here's the thing: you cannot grow a business sitting in a room by yourself, not talking to a single person. You will not grow. You will not get challenged. You will not reach out. You will not grow your network. You will not grow your ability to influence or grow your business, period, if you ain't talking to nobody. Especially if you're in business and you don't know exactly what your client wants to buy, things like that, you gotta start here. You have to start having purposeful conversations. So many people spend time either working on, workshops or projects or content or this, that, and the other thing, and they've never talked to someone who might be their ideal client to see what their problems are, to just have a conversation with, just to see what they need before they try to create all this thing that's going to help them. So I tell everyone, set a goal of DMing one new potential client every single day, just offering to help. You just try to make a connection or do an interview with them or try to send some business way, but just lead with trying to help. Just if you want to open the door and have more talks, have more connections, and want to network with more people and want to just grow your reach and your impact in your business, set a goal of messaging one person a day, offering to help them completely for free.
Now there's a concept, right? Just being nice and adding value. Crazy talk, Jesse.
Yeah, right. I know especially for Christine, this is like, this is like foundational, fundamental. This is what I do.
But
every
it's
single
so
day.
true, right? If you don't know where to start, This is a perfect place to start because I think people get intimidated, right? They're afraid to reach out to people they don't know, so I totally get it. You got to start someplace simple.
Yeah, start simple. And what's crazy is that time goes by so fast. We're already almost done April. If you message one person a day since the beginning of the year, you would have had 120 plus new contacts. And you never know where those kind of contacts relationships are going to go. So keep it simple. There's a Japanese principle called Kaizen, which is if you want to start a habit, if you want to do something, make it so stupid simple that seems almost impossible not to do. So put it in your calendar, say one DM every single day, one conversation, one person. And sooner or later, you're just going to be an automatic habit. You're not even going to think about it, and all the doors are going to swing wide open.
Right. And that's so important, where to start, where to feel comfortable. And I think a lot of people are afraid, right? But one doesn't seem so intimidating, right? I mean, everybody can do one, right? And once you
That's
get
right.
that habit, it gets a little bit easier, a little less intimidating, right? And maybe you'll, get really excited and do two.
You never know. Good things can happen. So step one, send a DM. Step two, when you're booking, you want to have a conversation, you want to take it to the next level, you want to just get out of the chat, and you want to actually like one-to-one and have a conversation with people, I suggest book on their calendar, right? If you want people to actually show up, go on their calendar. People show up to their own appointments much more often than they show up to your appointment. So if you want to say, I want to have more conversations with people, more chats with people, it could be my ideal client, I might know them, send them a DM every day, offering help sending business their way, and book a call on their calendar link if you want to improve your show up rate.
I love that. That's some great advice right there. He's bringing out the A game tips. Remember that. Book on their calendar so they'll show up.
Yeah, that's right. It's a little sneaky psychology thing that works for me. So it works for my clients too. So we keep doing it. So that's step one. Step two, when you're on that call, build rapport. That's what Christine started with. This is what she knows. And this is very basic, but it's basic for a reason. It's fun. It's fundamental. It's foundational. It's things that will not change no matter what business you're in. Regardless of what kind of business you're in, you need to talk to people, you need to have conversations with them, you need to try and help them, and you need to get them to like you and trust you and build rapport with them. So the best way to build rapport is not to make it about yourself. Make it about them. Get to know them further. Learn about what they do. See if you can help them. If you want to get someone to trust you and to like you, start serving, start helping, start giving.
I love this. This is the basics right here. When you can get good at the basics, we're big about the foundation, right? If you can get really good at the foundation, you'd be amazed how much more you can accomplish.
That's right. That's right. The experts, the best in the world at stuff are those who have a stronger grip and a practice of the fundamentals than anybody else. If you think of the best athletes, the best anything, their fundamentals are rock solid. They know them inside and out. And these are some of the fundamentals of being in business.
Absolutely. That consistency, right? Like you're saying, every day.
That's right. That's right. It's a skill. It's a skill that everyone can learn, and it's easy. Just got to do it. The hard part is doing it every day. So if you want to actually get better at it, make it as simple and easy and enjoyable to do every single day so you can stick to it. So step two is all about building rapport. Step three is when you're in a conversation with them, trigger reciprocity. And this is a lot of Christine. Again, this is like, I say this to you and you're like, yeah.
And I love this. No, preach, Jesse, preach.
So once you've built some rapport and some relationship and learned about them, if you want someone to like you, do something for them in a way that they feel obligated to help you back. It's just human psychology. If you help someone without them even asking, they're gonna be like, wow, I like that person and I owe them a favor. That is such a great place to be in business, where everyone wants to help you back because there's so much you can do from that point. So I say step three is just trigger reciprocity. The way I like to do that is when I'm on a conversation with somebody, I like to deliver immediate value, whatever that looks like. Sometimes it's making an introduction. Sometimes that's making a referral. Sometimes that's, for me, I love recording interviews with them. And what I like to do is I like to highlight a case study. So this is kind of what Christine is doing here with having people on her on this show is delivering that value, right? And so I like to do that immediately by just saying, hey, let's hop on an interview right now. Let's record something that highlights your specialty, your expertise, and I can share it with my audience and try to help give you more exposure, some more visibility, see if I can send some business your way.
Absolutely. We love adding value.
Yeah, absolutely. So Once you have triggered reciprocity, here is where the sneaky part comes in. See if they need your help. So when people are saying, if you've done a good job and you've offered to help someone, you've got them on a call, they like you, and you've done something for them where they're like, wow, thank you so much. How can I help you? Let's use that to learn more. See if they say, hey, how can I help you? What can I do in return? Be like, you know what? Actually, I'm doing some research, or I'd love to know more. I would love to. Hey, Joe, how's it going, brother? Um, I would love to know, I want to know more about what you might be dealing with, any challenges or any things that you're working on. Or like if you could change anything about whatever you're working on, what would you change? Like get to understand if they have any problems or challenges, because we get paid as entrepreneurs in direct proportion to the problems that we solve for people. And so if we don't know what problems are out there, how we solve them, or people aren't, letting us know how they describe their problems and challenges, it's gonna be a lot harder for us to market ourselves to them. And so what I like to do is ask them, the biggest challenge is though, is a lot of people, when you ask them what their problems and challenges are, the biggest thing, if they feel like they're being sold to or pressured, they probably won't tell you the full truth because they don't want to get blindsided and smacked over the head with a sales pitch. So what I like to do is, again, build that reciprocity, that trust and the rapport, and then say, hey, look, I'm creating content to help people sign clients. Can I ask you a couple questions to see what you'd find helpful? They'd be like, yeah, absolutely. And say, okay, what would you change about signing clients? Oh, this. Oh, tell me more about that. How long has that been a problem? Just dive deep on a very surface level. But because you've built that rapport, that relationship, and that reciprocity, they're much more likely to give you the genuine truth. And when they give you that genuine truth, now here's how they describe their problem. One, this is great market research for any content that you might create or anything that you might do for your business. But when you know how someone describes their problem and their challenges, now you can understand, okay, this is what's important in the marketplace. This is what I need to find out a solution for. This is what I need to focus on helping people with. It's reconnaissance, it's research, it's live feedback from the marketplace in a way that really helps you understand how you can best solve their problem.
I love it, Jesse. Like Joe said, it's a nice natural approach, right? It's having real conversations with real people.
That's right. And so the transition here is, if they have a challenge or a problem that you legitimately know that you're going to be able to help and solve, ask them if they're open to a different perspective. We're getting consent. We're getting permission to see, would you like to hear anything different about this challenge and problem to see if I might be able to help? If they say no, then it's like, okay, cool. We had a great conversation. Let's stay in touch. Maybe we can connect some people. Like we've built a rapport and relationship and still built that reciprocity. No harm, no foul. Everything's been great and cool and above board. But if they're open to a different perspective, perfect. Now we can transition into having a conversation at a later time where we can share and understand more about their problem and share a different perspective. This just gives us permission to say, hey, can we dive deeper? Can we understand more? Is this a problem that's important to you that you'd like a second opinion on?
I love this, Jesse, because that's a lot of times we think, oh, I can help you. And then we all over them, right? I often say that unsolicited advice is rarely appreciated.
That's right.
So think about that for a moment, right? Think about the last time somebody gave you advice and you didn't ask for it.
That's right.
So it's there's a certain level of presumptuousness, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, inviting, hey, you open to another idea on that or another perspective? And, if they say yes, right now they've opened the door for that conversation. If they're not interested, you're just talking just to hear yourself talk at that point, because they're not really paying attention or listening to you, right?
Exactly. That's right. I'm so glad you brought that up, because it's so true. I used to all the time, oh, you have this problem? Do this, do that, do this, do that. It's just like, well, look, I didn't ask you for your opinion or perspective on this. So, it just kind of shoots ourselves in the foot. So if we say, okay, would you open for a different perspective? They say yes. Again, let's hold it back. Let's not dive down deep and try to solve every problem right then. Let's book a follow-up call. Let's have another conversation about this. Let's not try to pretend that I can solve all your problems right here, right now. Let's set aside enough time to deeper understand where they're at, because they need to feel that you understand their problem and able to describe the problem in the way that they have the problem, if they're even going to be interested in any type of solution whatsoever. If you assume that you know exactly what their problem is and you say, I know what your problem is, this is your solution, they're gonna be like, you don't know me at all. Like, what are you talking about? And so this
Right.
is the time where we set aside for like, okay, let me see if I really understand what you're going through. Let me see if I really understand
Yeah.
all of your challenges, all your problems, things like that in a deeper way before I open my mouth whatsoever on what I do and what I solve and how I offer to fix your problems.
Absolutely. I was just thinking about a client that recently had said, yeah, they went in to talk to somebody who was going to be a new client, and then they thought they knew what they wanted, exactly what you're talking about. And they had this great idea, and they kind of walked in the door with preset notions of what they wanted to
Mhm,
pitch. Right. And it
mhm,
turns out it
mhm,
was completely different than what the person was actually looking for. Right. So there was a missed opportunity because instead of coming in with a spirit of inquiry, right, and
mhm.
asking questions to find out what they're looking for, what they need, and how you can help them, you came in with an idea already, and then whoop, and just sales breath and vomited all over them.
That's right. That's right.
So
Absolutely.
yeah, we miss opportunities that way. So we got to be
That's
careful,
right.
right? The whole
That's right.
point behind
That's right.
serving is serving people in a way that they can appreciate.
That's right. Oh, I love that you said that. Yes, it's serving people the way they want to be served, not the way I think they want to be served. That's great.
Absolutely.
That's great. And so when you're on this follow-up call, let's dive deeper. Get clear, get crystal clear on their challenges and problems in the way that they describe them. Understand the impact that it really has on them. See like why it's important to them. See what their goals are. Like what are they trying to accomplish? Figure out what else they've tried. People aren't going to buy another solution if they've already tried something like that. People want
Mhm.
something different than everything else they've tried and hasn't worked for them in the past. So you got to find out, okay, what else have you tried? If if you've tried 5 marketing agencies helping you with content, why were they going to go with the sixth one? Do you know what I mean? Like you need to understand, what else they've tried. You understand why this is important to them right now, and they need to understand like what's this costing you if things stay the same. Like if nothing changes, or if this problem keeps continuing on, like what happens? Is everything hunky dory and cool, or is like things really bad if this problem keeps going? Okay, well then you can ask them. Okay, well, do you think now is a good time to change? And if they say, yeah, absolutely, now we can go into our own stuff. But if they say,
I
no, I'm not ready,
love this.
right?
I
But if they're
love
like,
this
no,
right here. This is awesome. Yeah, I'll
yeah,
take a screenshot of this. Hold on to this. This is great information right here, right? He's glossing over like it's no big deal. Like everybody knows this. No, there's people that really need to hear this, right? Because a lot of times we don't slow down. Business owners, we go, 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 right? And this actually gets them to stop, think, evaluate what's going on. Where are they at? Right. So if you had this problem, what's the impact? Right. What does that mean to your business? What impact is it having on your time, on your energy? What is it happening on how much cost it's, to take care of this, let alone what you're missing out on. Right. I mean, really take a moment, right? Asking these questions, if you really dive in deep, right? It's like, whoa, right? It's your problem. Is this something that's even going towards your goals? What's the impact that's going to have on that? Right. You think about most people, and when it comes to, signing on those big clients, how much time and effort are you willing to put into that? Are you making that a priority, or are you just doing busy work? Right. So helping them understand, if this is your goal, are you actually taking any actions that are going to achieve that goal?
That's right. That's right.
Right.
That's
I
right.
love these questions. These are great. Make sure you guys get a screenshot of this one because, ooh, baby, refer back to
Yeah,
these.
this is the deep stuff. This is how you take sales from a like surface level understanding to like a real like what's motivating this person? What are like the emotions and the reasons why they would want to take a step in any other direction? Because unless you really know, until you can really tap into those things, people buy emotionally, justify logically. And if you can't tap into those deep emotions of what they're going through right now, their true problem and challenges, and what happens if nothing changes, they're not going to be interested. They're not going to connect the dots between their problem and your solution.
Absolutely. And then what else they've tried, right? So getting to know them, really diving in. And sometimes it's, did it work? Did it not work? Why?
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
Helping them
Yep.
sometimes just kind of brainstorm and troubleshoot, like, ooh, I'm familiar with that. I've been there, done that. One
Mhm.
of the problems I ran into was this, right? Giving them an
Mhm.
example, right? There's other ways to dive in there, but really listening to the answer, right? This is where we're
Mhm.
diving deep and getting to know somebody, right?
That's right. That's
I
right.
love these questions.
That's good. Like, that's great. So what I like to do is on that first call, it's like a high school reunion. You're trying to like, oh, I haven't seen you in forever. How are you? What are you up to? How can I help you? I mean, like that's the kind of thing. On this call, we dive in deep, but you're the therapist and they're laying on your couch and you say, hey, look, like give it to me straight. Like what's going on right now? Like how are things? And
Mhm.
really getting to know and understand it. Because just like a therapist or a doctor, like until they really know the problem, the solution isn't going to hit as hard.
Absolutely. You kind of like, why is this important to them now? Right. You and I had
Mm,
that conversation. I
mm,
remember going through these steps with you and I loved it.
mm,
Right. So
mhm,
why is
mhm,
this
mhm,
important? So I was talking about my grandson, right? I'm like, I need to leave a
mhm,
legacy. I've got the sweetest little
mm,
grandson I want to leave legacy for, right? So
mhm,
what's
mhm.
their why? What's their motivation? Right. This
That's
is a
right.
great
That's
way to
right.
show them how, we can help you achieve your goals.
That's right. That's right. And so once you've done the deep dive, then walk them through your process. Like until you know everything of their problem, their challenges, and how they describe it, then again, ask permission. Hey, what I could do right now is I could walk you through my process, A to Z, of how I solve this problem to get you your desired outcome. But you tell me, where do you want to go from here? Again, it's all permission based, consent based, all like, I have this for you, but do you actually want it, or is this unsolicited advice again? Like we want to make sure that we're really
Mhm.
serving and giving them that space and that permission to, to take the next step, if that makes sense.
I love this. And Joe's got a great one. You mentioned malpractice to
That's
give a prescription without a proper diagnosis first. I love that.
absolutely,
We
absolutely,
take that in the
absolutely.
business world, right? Yeah,
That's right.
absolutely.
Yep, yep, absolutely, absolutely. So then, when you've got the permission, once you've walked into they walked into the process, then you can present the solution, what you deliver and the price. But not until you are fully understanding their problem, how they describe it, how it affects them. Like it really need again, it's malpractice by not doing this process and not doing this work because your solution just won't hit the same. It won't be directly tied into what they're looking for. And honestly, this helps in even attracting and working with better quality clients because how you attract someone, how you get someone is how they leave. And so if you got someone on an impulse and a quick, oh yeah, I'll work with you, blah, 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 they're going to leave just as quick because they're just going to be, bopping around from opportunity to opportunity. But if you took the time to understand them and care for them and listen to them and work with them, even before, getting paid, you took the time to really care about them. Now, when they become a client, they're like, and the reason I am a client is because this person really knows me. He really took the time to figure out exactly what my problems and challenges are, and before, and he learned those things before he even presented any solution.
Taking the time to build that rapport is so important.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, and then you overcome objections,
Oh, I love
and
the way you
people.
just skip over that. And then you
All
just
right.
overcome
Okay.
objections. Oh,
Yeah. Okay.
really, Jesse?
Okay. Okay.
This is
Let
the
me.
man
Let
with
me.
the sales experience and understands the sale process. Now, the rest of the people out here are what?
All right. Let me give you my number one hack for overcoming objections. So it's really important. There's a million and one ways to overcome objections, but the way that I really like to do it is by tying their objection is making sure that they feel really strong about your process because your process is going to be tailored directly to their solution. So if they say, but I can't afford or I can't this, I can't say, okay, aside from the money, how do you feel about the process that I walked you through? Do you feel solid and secure in this solution? Like, do you think this is going to solve your problem? Do you think this is going to get you your ultimate desired outcome? Do you feel like 10 out of 10, this is exactly what I need? As far as the process is concerned, does it feel rock solid, like this is going to solve your problem? I said, yeah, I trust the process. Okay, so aside from the money, the process is solid and secure. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, cool. Money's not an issue. Do you need a payment plan? Do you need, like let's talk
Mhm.
more kind of thing. Like you can, but we need to always tie the objection back to how do you feel and how do you trust, not me, but the process that's going to solve your problem. And if they feel rock solid on that, just keep going back to that when they come to an objection. It's like, oh, I got to talk to my partner. Okay, other than talking to your partner, how do you feel about the process? Process is good. Process is great. Partner says yes, you good to go. Partner says yes, I'm good to go. Perfect. Let's talk to them. You mean like tie it all back to, do you think this is going to solve your problem? And if they say, yeah, I believe it's going to solve your problem, cool. Then, then there's no problems here, right? If this is going to work and you're sure that this is going to work, let's work.
Absolutely. So focusing on the process and how that process is going to get them the results that they're looking for, solve the problem that they have, right? And life is going to be so much better. If we think back to the slide about all the questions and how we're getting to know them, right? We're tying that back in at this point.
That's right. That's right. We're tying it all back to the work that we did before. That way, when the objections come up, we say like, hey, you're not afraid of them, and you're not like, oh my goodness, there's an objection. No, an objection is just them pushing back a little bit to see, they're testing your confidence level in the process as well. And if the person and if you meet them with like, how do you feel? Like, is this going to solve your problem? They say, yeah, it's going to solve my problem. Cool. Like, excellent. Now we're aligned. Now we're good to go.
Yeah, it makes sense, right? And it's all so practical sounding. It all sounds so natural. I love the way you make it sound so easy, Jesse.
Right. Well, it's simple and straightforward. The hard part is just doing it. Like, it's like saying like, oh man, Jesse, you make getting in shape sound so easy. You just gotta, move more and eat less. It's like, that's the simplicity of it, but it's doing it every day. It's actual implementation of it. And so this information is, I believe, like 10% of what it takes to succeed. The real success comes from implementing it and doing it. And it doesn't have to be hard. If you make it easy, you make it enjoyable, and you do it every single day, that gets the reps in, that trains the body, your nervous system settles into it, and that like it makes it so much more comfortable if you just practice this on a daily basis. That's why I say one conversation, one call. You do this once every single day. Before you know it, you'll be a sales superstar.
Practice makes perfect.
That's right. That's right.
Especially you have somebody like Jesse by your side coaching you along.
Here you go. Perfect. Exactly. So after you overcome the objections, book the onboarding call to get them started and click payment. Be like, okay, objections overcome. Let's book it in. Let's lock this in. Let's, book our call when we can onboard and start working together and get rocking and rolling. And then, yeah, I said that at the bottom. I don't know why I made that 2 slides, but whatever.
Because it's important.
It's important. Because that's where business happens. Book the call and get started and collect payment. So yeah. So that is the 8-step process.
I love it. It does. It seems just nice, smooth. It makes sense. Right. So is this what you help people with, Jesse?
Oh boy. I knew you were going to ask me that. Yeah, absolutely. If you're saying like, hey, Jesse, this sounds all great for you, you can do it, blah, blah, blah. Hey, look, all of this is it's a proven framework and a structure. It's all based on deep sales psychology. It's all proven. It's all laid out. All you got to do is insert your niche here. These are, again, when we're asking questions here, we're only presenting based on the questions that we get. And so these questions that we looked at in step 6, it doesn't matter what business you're in. You need, like, the questions are the same. Like, it doesn't matter if you're selling marketing services or whatever you're selling. These questions are the same. Like, oh, what's your biggest challenge? What's the impact? What's your goal? Like, that doesn't change. Just how you present your solution based on the questions changes. And so I can give you the exact frameworks as far as how to reach out to people, how to structure a really good first call to build that rapport, that reciprocity, figuring out if they would like a different perspective, and then having a full list of all the best questions that I found and I've used to actually have a really smooth, effortless, comfortable, non-pushy or salesy, like actually helping and getting to know people type of sales conversation. We go through that and I customize it completely for your specific offer. So I come in and I say, this is what you're offering. Okay, here's what you need to reach out to. Here's what you say in the first call. Here's what you say in the second call. Here's how we can structure your offer to maximize the conversion on that. And then I completely customize it for your offer. And then I say, and then for the next 6 weeks, we'll work together in a group and we'll just do this process together. So like I said, success, 10% information, 90% implementation. So I'll customize the information, the 10% of success completely around your offer. And then for the next 6 weeks, we will implement it together. Say, okay, did we do the reach out? Did we book the calls? Did we have the conversations? How did they go? What do we need to test? What do we need to tweak? Let's do what we can in the next 6 weeks to book you and get you the next client.
I love that. This is where marketing meets sales, right? And a lot of times Giver Marketing is all about marketing, right? But the whole point behind marketing is to get you to that end zone, as we'll say, which is the sales side of it, right? It's that handshake where marketing hits sales. And a lot of
That's right.
times as solopreneurs, we don't have a sales team that we pass this off to, right? We got to be able to do it all ourselves. We're usually our own accountants, our own marketing team, our own sales team, and our own fulfillment team, right? So the small businesses, right? You're wearing those multiple hats, right? So sometimes there's no clear distinction where marketing ends and sales starts. So this is that spot in the middle that a lot of entrepreneurs get stuck at. Right. And
That's right.
especially, I know with the coaches and consultants, right, that we're talking about,
That's right.
they're brilliant at what you do, right? We can be brilliant at what we do, but if nobody knows about it, right, then we can't really serve them. Right.
That's right.
So having some kind of message system where we're doing an outreach, right, to start those conversations and then learning how to go through that sales process so you can close those deals. Right. Because we still have to make a living.
Yep, that's right.
That's how this works.
That's right. And so if you're like a coach or a consultant or agency and you're like, I create content, I have an email list, I do workshops, I do all this kind of stuff, but it's not leading to good conversations, send out those are the first people you send that outreach message to. People that showed up to your latest workshops, people on your email list, people that engage with your content, send out a message, say, let's find a time, you tell me more what you do, I'll see if I can send some business your way. Start those conversations, get on the calls, build the rapport in the relationships, and understand how they describe their problems so that when you present your solutions, even in your marketing, it speaks directly to the problems that they said that they had.
I'm going to take what you just ran with and you mentioned webinars, right? And a lot of times we've attended webinars. And then what happens after the webinar, right? We either buy whatever it is they pitched to us or we didn't. And if we didn't, now what happens? We get a slew of emails, right? But how often do you get like a real reach out?
Right.
Right.
Yep.
Not just a spam email, the insert name here, but like a real connection request on LinkedIn per se, and say, hey, I saw that you were at the webinar, right? Just wanted to follow up and chat with you. Right?
Yeah.
Imagine what that would do for the conversion, right? I'm not treating you like another number of one of the 30, 50, 5,000 people that were at the webinar, right? I'm actually treating you like you're a human, and I actually want to have a conversation with you and see if I can add some value. What a difference. That's right? Yeah, imagine how much more they would close if that was the case, right?
Absolutely.
And that really makes
your content. They already met you. Absolutely.
Yeah, you stand out from the crowd at that point, right? Having some kind of message system that's beyond the message for the masses.
That's right.
I love this. So we have here, I add you on Facebook, look for effortlessgrowth.co.
If you go to effortlessgrowth.co, it should redirect you directly to my Facebook. Add me on Facebook. And when I get that ad, I will send you a message and let's find a time. You can tell me more what you do, and I'll see if I can send some business your way.
Absolutely. And I just dropped Jesse's link again for LinkedIn. Connect with him on LinkedIn. Go make new friends, right? So if Jesse's not on your friend list yet, right, this is your invitation. Have a conversation with them. Obviously, he's easygoing, easy to talk to. There's no sales breath going on here. We're just about adding value. You'll be glad that you had a conversation with him. He really does make this whole process feel so smooth. Like I said, for my background with marketing, sales isn't my thing. I'm like, we talked about this, right? And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not the sales girl. I need somebody to do the closing. He's like, what if I get more appointments, right? I'm like, yeah, I don't have any time on my calendar. I need a closer, right? So I need somebody that handles all that for me, right? But if you don't have the luxury to be able to do that and you need to do it yourself, you need to have the system smooth, right? You think about how much time and energy you're putting into your lead generation, whatever method you've been using. Is it effective? Are you getting the results that you want? Stop and look at your numbers, right? A lot of times we don't stop and dive deep, right? And take a look at your current system. Okay, so I talked to this many people. I reach out to this many. I talk, right? And this many are actually like talking in return. This many are actually, having a one-on-one conversation with me. I'm getting on a call. This many are closing. How many, what's going on with your methods? Is your process truly getting you the results that you're looking for, right? Maybe it's time to take a look and see, are you being human enough in this world of automations, right? Are you actually going out of your way to actually build real rapport with people? because that's now with all the AI, and I love AI. I work with a couple of AI companies, right? And I love that space. But what we're getting is the automation, the AIs, and we're losing that real person connection. This is an opportunity to look unique, is by being real.
I agree.
Yeah, this is the way to go
Said.
right
Well
here.
said.
I love this, Jesse. So once again, reach out to him on Facebook, effortlessgrowth.co. And I dropped a link for his LinkedIn. Jesse, somebody you want to know, you want to have a conversation with, he gets it. He's not just like, here's your marketing dollars and just flush them down the toilet, right? He's like, no, we're going to do something. We're going to, you don't need to spend money on the ads, the appointment setters, all that. We're going to teach you how to do it organically and build real relationships. I mean, that's singing my song, Jesse.
Thanks for having me, Christine. I appreciate it.
You're welcome to come back and play on our broadcast anytime. I love your value system, and just wanted to say thank you for coming and being a guest and sharing your wisdom with our audience.
I appreciate you, Christina. Thank you so much.
Oh, is that a little one I hear in the background?
You hear the baby? Yep.
Oh, I love it.
He's up.
Okay, we're gonna let you do your daddy duties then.
All right, thanks, Christine. Appreciate it.
Reach out to Jesse anytime. I'm sure he'd love to have a conversation with you. Thank you so much for being a guest today, Jesse.
Thanks, Christine. Have a great one.
You too. And I'm going to remind everybody that we've got our Wednesday is networking for marketers. So make sure you go to givermarketing.com/networking and come hang out with us. And we do the broadcast every Tuesday. I'm sure we'll have Jesse back at some point. Say hi to the babies for us. Thanks, Jesse. And thanks, y'all, for joining us for another Giver Marketing broadcast. We will see you next week.
Take care.